really, to be fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is why I like to record it, is so that everyone that's in a similar situation or might have some circumstance that it might help them. It just saves me I can help more people in without actually having to put so much of my life into it. Because I mean, I did this whole thing on Sunday, where I do a talk now at 2 o'clock with people that need help. I didn't finish till 5.
Oh my word! The drama being is everyone's situation is slightly different, and everyone's got their own slight issues, frictions, and problems, and constraints really being the biggest one as well.
Absolutely. So, for the benefit of those that might end up watching this, do you want to just explain your circumstances?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an active serving soldier. I've still got a number of years left that are actually still in the military. Within my CAT badge, within the Royal Signals, I'm a technically trained individual whose background is in temporary power distribution systems, such as generators and military bespoke temporary field power distribution equipment. So I do have experience of the electrical industry, but it is very, very, very bespoke to the military. So we have our own kit and equipment that's not commercial off the shelf, such as what you would find within BS 7909 setups, such as Glastonbury. That being said, we are also responsible for generator maintenance, repair, servicing, and all that kind of stuff, as well as the maintenance, repair, upkeep, servicing, and inspection, testing, commissioning of the same temporary power distribution system that we use. So I've got many strings to my bow, but unfortunately, the way that the military green machine is, well, in fact, it's not even the military green machine. The way that my work is the fact that because our equipment is so bespoke to us, we don't have as much experience as what a normal electrician or temporary installer would actually have if they were to spend their career doing Glastonbury's, your Lead festivals, your Reading festivals, your farmers markets and stuff like that as well.
Gotcha. So I'm just looking through, obviously you gave me a bit of a background story, which pretty much is everything you said. And then you've got the 2391/52.
Yes. So how I came about that one is within the military, we have our own essential technical documentation, our support publications, which are akin to manufacturer's instructions. Now, we hold a certain amount of kit within my CAT badge that has specified that someone to actually do the maintenance and repair of this item. It's a transportable container, a wheeled variety. Someone does actually need to have 239152 to inspect and test these vehicles. So that's one of our jobs as well. It's one of our tasks to test and inspect these. So that's why we kind of got that the qualification in there. Now, as you and anyone watching this video will know, it has 239152 helps in a vast array of other electrical areas as well, which has been a big bonus. It's also been a big eye opener to how much I didn't know overall, but my subject matter expertise of temporary systems, it led me down a path of, well, I know more than I thought I did in some areas, but I've got large gaps in others as such.
Yeah, it usually happens with the training as well. It happens to anyone, even the best of us, which is why I'm quite keen for people to, do more of college and not so much of a short course. Because I think, even in a short amount of time, I mean, you could get all this information thrown at you. Most of it you'll forget.
Yeah.
Or you don't quite tie the loose ends up. Whereas, if we've got you for a longer period, we can fill those gaps in. But more courses, like exactly as you found out, helps fill the gaps. So
yes.
It says as well, obviously, as well, you've got the 2396, which is the design course.
So that one was, I'm not going to say it's an oddity. It's part of the way that my training CAT badge and the Army is moving. We're more trying to professionalise everything. So there was me and 2 others that went and did from my section, my work section, went and did the 2396 course to see if the training that we receive throughout our career is good enough to be able to do the 2396. Do we have the mental capacity to it? And then actually at the end of it, get us the three people together and actually see whether it would actually be of benefit to our trading cat badge and the wider military as well. And we've since found that it does. It's nails without any shadow of a doubt. I was not prepared for how intense the training and the assessment would be as well.
Well, I see, in our, because obviously where I teach, we do apprenticeships. There's a small design element in there, very small. It's like the 2396, but on a smaller scale, effectively.
Yeah.
And I saw the second year apprentices come out of that the other day, and they were almost dribbling out of the mouth. And they were like, you know what, that is so hard. And when you're doing it all day, your brain just ends up closing up, and it's like no more. So I completely get that. And also, obviously, you've got the BS 7909, and that's quite a lot of experience you've got there. So you then went on to say that you're looking at starting the Sitting Guilds 2365 level 2 later this year.
Yeah.
You paid for that?
No, not yet. I'm literally waiting for the college to actually get back to me about that.
Okay, because I might have some good news for you in a second if it works out. And then obviously the level 3 straight away, you were thinking about doing that. And I guess the reason that you're going down that route is to become a qualified electrician. Is that right?
So as I said earlier on, I do have, not to big myself up, but I do have many strings to my bow, and I can potentially take many different avenues due to my experience within the military. So I'm more practically minded than sitting in an office. Sitting in an office absolutely kills me. I can't stand it. It drives me absolutely batty. So I've always been practically with my hands, and I want to take advantage of that. So I want to get back to being on the tools, actually going out and fixing stuff, even if it's just for a couple of years on commercial, then a bit on industrial, and just get a whole varied array of experience down that electrician route, and then potentially even specialize or start up my own company or what have you. I'm remarkably undecided as to the route after, but I want to keep as many options open as possible.
Nice to have routes available, isn't it? I mean, how long have you been doing electrical work?
Within the military, I've held my trade for 20 years.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good news. Okay, so two things. Obviously, if you go down the 2365 course, that's a diploma route, the self-funded route. This is effectively what you're looking at. Okay, so you do a level 2, and then you do level 3, and at that point, you then, to go any further, you have to get a job. Now, at any point during that, if you get a job as an electrician, you can be put on an apprenticeship.
Okay.
And that is available to you. Now, the thing to bear in mind with this route is, some of the people that I've been talking to, it costs them in the range of £8,000. Okay.
So, sorry, I'll jump in with this one. Having spoken to the college about this, they offer both level 2 and level 3 Sitting Guilds 2365 for £1,600 a pop.
Right. Okay.
So it's, but when I have actually looked at this through, I think it was Brian Scad and Associates, that was about 3.5, 4K a pop as well. So 8K is a hell of a lot of money to put into that.
It depends where you go. So hang on, let me just write this down. So, because I'm just keeping notes as we go.
Yeah, sure.
265, and you reckon about 1,600 pop. £1,600 for level 2, £1,600 for level 3, so that's 3,200. Did they then explain to you that you would have to build an MVQ?
So I am aware of having to do the MVQ afterwards as well, but my plan at this minute in time is both of these courses are going to take me somewhere in the region of 3 years to actually do on day release, which is unfortunately all I can get out of work at this minute in time. My intention is, after I've got the level 3, that'll see me up to a suitable time for me to actually retire from the military. So then I could actually, I will most likely go into the electrical industry employed and attempt to convince my bosses to get me onto the MVQ level 3.
Okay, so few things there. Firstly, though, I just want to make sure you're aware of costs. Okay, so at this point here, obviously this takes till 3 years. 3 years, you said, isn't it?
Yes.
At which point you then need to get a job. They then say that it takes about a year to build your NVQ.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 years in total. Now, to build that NVQ, you need to employ an assessor to do that. So you're looking somewhere between £1,000 to £1,200 to get that done. Okay, so that adds on to your cost. At which point, once you've done that, you then go into the AM2.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's about £900. There you go. So you've now gone up from 3.2 to 4.2 to 5.1.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you're aware of costs.
Yeah, sure.
Because again, it winds me up when people get on this and then realise it takes a lot longer and costs more money than they thought.
Oh yeah, I have watched some of your videos and read some of your stuff before, and I'm fully aware of the other costs that are, or I say fully aware. I'm not fully aware of all costs. I'm aware there are other costs, shall we say?
So let's park this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to do 1 day release and you're doing electrical work with your job, could they not take you on an apprenticeship?
What, as in the college or my work?
Well, that's about work. But well, basically, if you can do 1 day block release, that's what we do for our apprentices.
Yeah.
Let me show you a different route, just so you can have a look and explore it. Okay, so we'll go back to this apprenticeships. Okay, and I'll send you this link as well, so you can have a look through this yourself. Now, the apprenticeship is a much shorter journey. Okay, effectively, you do the 3 years at college, doing your level 2 and your level 3, and it's the same qualification as the 2365, but it's called the 5357.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, you build your portfolio at the same time, and this is all paid for. Okay, because you're over 19, your employer, or they may ask you to pay. Okay, they have to pay 5% of the college course, which is about £900, but that's for 3 years. And bearing in mind the cost of the AM2 is 900 quid, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. At the same time, you're building your portfolio. So as long as you're doing the stuff at work, so there's a range that I'll talk about in a minute. As long as you're fulfilling that range, you can build your portfolio at the same time. You get the course done, and then you're qualified straight into the AM2 with your portfolio, and you qualify. And they say about 4 years for that to happen. Okay, and it will only cost you £900.
Yeah. So the friction we've got here with that one is I'm in an entirely office-based job at the minute.
Right.
My job is in training design, so I am 100% off the tools, welded to a desk. So I certainly see the benefits of this route. It is probably not achievable for me.
No, that's okay. Well, okay, let's put that to one side then. I've got another route to show you. Right. So there's another route called the experienced worker route.
Yeah.
Now, this route has come around because the industry has realised they've got a bit of a problem, in my opinion. I'll just bring it up so you can see the route. Now, what they've done, obviously, behind sort of in the background, I get the feeling the industry are turning away from the domestic installer courses. Okay, they've realised that it's not the same. You don't get the same level of quality, the same level of experience, and they've made it more difficult. So some training providers have stopped giving domestic installer courses. Okay, and they say obviously it's because now you do that route, then you need to do 2 years of experience, and then you can enrol with a competent person scheme, which kind of defeats the object. So what they've now done is they've got this experienced worker route. Okay. And what this does, it takes into consideration all your previous experience, and you don't need any particular qualifications. Okay, so I can't help but feel personally that this is a way that the industry can deal with all these low competency people that have done questionable routes into the industry and turn them into electricians. So on the books, for the competent person schemes, everything looks rosy. We're all qualified now to the same level, even though we may not be. That's just my personal opinion. But it may help you because all you need is the 2391, which you've got.
Yeah.
All you need is the 18th edition wiring regulations, which I'm sure you could sit, or may it even have?
Yeah, I've actually got that. I forgot to add that to the list.
Okay, so you've already got that. So a quid's in. Okay, then all you need to do, let me just bring up the AM2E. So it's called the AM2E. So if you look at this on the website, it will talk you all the way through that. Now, what you need, that's that, find out more preparation, pre-assessment manual, and download full checklist. Okay, so this tells you everything that you need to know. Let's have a look, make sure I get the right one. AM2S, AM2E, full checklist. We haven't got AM2. That's the one. Right. So it's basically what this means, Lawrence, is you won't have to go back to college if you fulfill the criteria for this. It means you can go, all you have to do is build your portfolio by doing work, and I'll talk you through that in a minute, and then you can go straight into this AM2E. And then when you come out of that, you're a qualified electrician, right?
Okay.
And you won't have to do the 3 years at college if we can get you through. Now, what it says here, obviously, you need to go through this and you do a skill scan of yourself, basically. Can you carry out and document an assessment of risk, which, you know, working for the MOD, I'm pretty sure you can. Safe isolation, you can. Composite installation. So, you know, can you do all of this? Well, if you've done the design course, pretty sure you can. Can you install SWA? Can you install flex? Can you install singles? Can you install bonding? Can you install FP200? Can you bend 20 mil conduit, metal and plastic? And can you connect up 3-phase? All right. And you work your way down here and you say whether you can do it, you know, whether your knowledge is limited, adequate, extensive or unsure, and same for your experience. And you work your way through this list. And then what you do is when you go to the college may do this with you. They look at where you're lacking, okay? Yeah. And then they can offer you extra training in the areas where you might need it, or point you where you get extra training from. At which point, when you're happy that, or the college is happy that you can do the assessment, and let's be honest, it's in their interest for you to go in for it, okay? Because obviously they want the money.
Yeah.
Then all you need is your MVQ, and in you go. Okay. And
so I need my MVQ before I get to the AM2E. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this is literally just a skill scan to make sure you can pass the AM2E, because everything on this checklist is everything that's in the exam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So if you check down, there's no point lying to yourself, and I'm saying this for people at home as well. Everything that's in here is in the exam. Okay. So if you're not any good at it, read up on it before you go in, because otherwise you're just going to waste money. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap. I think it's at £900 for the whole thing, £500 just for the installation side. I think it's about 250 quid if you fail safe isolation. It's about £300 if you fail the test and inspection or the fault finding. You know, so it very quickly adds back up again.
Yeah.
You know? So no point lying to yourself. If you go through this and realise you're limited somewhere, do some practice, do some research.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, that's that. So I'll send you all these links. Now, let me show you. Now, this is the workplace logbook. Again, I can send you a link for this so you know what's involved. Okay? Yeah. Now, basically, they've changed it. It used to be very written. You had to be, you know, really intense writing. You had to do loads of descriptive, and you had to, you know, tick all the learning outcomes in your talk, the way you speak and the way you can bring yourself across, which I'm sure you could probably do with your eyes closed. Obviously, you're probably doing it already. But they've changed that now because they found that there's a lot of people in the industry that probably shouldn't be on the course. They're not very good. Well, not on the course. That's the wrong terminology. They're not very good at English.
Yeah.
Okay. And they hate writing. Right. You know, most kids these days, everything on the computer, no problem.
Yeah.
So if you put a pen in their hand, they're not interested. So what they've done is they've changed it so that there's less writing to do, and it's more about your employer or the person you're working with, your supervisor, saying that you can do it. So an expert witness.
Yeah,
now,
okay.
All an expert witness needs to have is competence in the workplace, and they must be able to demonstrate that they have a current knowledge of the industry, working practices and techniques, and no conflict of interest in the outcome of their evidence. Okay, that's the only criteria. They can effectively sign off a lot of your work. There's a few performance criteria that you'll be checked against. There's direct observation, where someone will come and see you, whether it's on a Zoom meeting or coming to site.
Yeah.
There's product evidence, so that could be manufacturer's instructions. There's reflective accounts, that's where you write about it after you've done the job. Professional discussion, that's where the assessor will ask you questions and talk through with you.
Yeah, okay.
Witness testimony, that could be your boss or something saying, yeah, this person knows what they're doing. I'm happy to put my name to it. Oral questions, that could be, you've said enough of the stuff, but there's a few key things we just want to check that you understand, and there'll be some questions put to you, and if you answer them, job done. Written questions, same thing, and then a job record. That could be something like a work diary that you use.
Yeah, okay.
And then that explains all of that there. Then there's a 102 unit, which is the health and safety. Okay, and effectively, this is assessed at work. The assessor will come and assess you at work.
Yeah, okay.
That might be in a Zoom meeting, and what they want to do when they visit you, they want to see you doing some health and safety based tasks. They want to see you fill out a risk assessment for the area you're in, wearing the PPE appropriate to the task, and they'll take a photo. And while they're there, they can also sign off other bits like first fixing, second fixing, or testing if you're doing that on the same day. Okay? Yeah. Which then saves you writing about it as much. All right?
Yeah, okay.
So there's some benefits to that. So the 102, you don't really fill out. That gets done for you. Then we get down to the 106. So this is being in charge of other people and organising the environment around you. Okay. So there, you have to be able to liaise with people, be timely, courteous. All simple things that you do every day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So again, you write about that, and you have to document it, obviously, and prove that you've done it by showing different things. Job address, you have to be able to tick some of these. I don't know if you have to do all of it, but you have to tick these, and then outline of discussions, information, all written, who you were talking to, outline of topics and the dates that you did it.
Yeah.
What forms of communication, and again, these are just ticking how you communicated with people and dates, and then a program of work activity. So that could just be a simple job. Who was on site, when they started, when they finished. Okay. And then there's a sort of electrical work program, and it's very basic. You don't have to go into masses of detail. It's very basic, and that is pretty much. And then there's 2 jobs. So for every one of these modules, you have to do 2 jobs.
Okay? Yeah. Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll send you the link for this, because you can buy this online. It's about £14 off Amazon. Okay, so I'll send you the link, and you can have a look through it, get your head around it. Right, then it moves on to Unit 108. So 108, terminate and connect conductors. That's second fixing. So preparing to terminate, selecting the right tools, the PPE, making sure you're safely locked off. Then you're doing the terminations. And then you have to work with these cables.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So if you're working with, and it's only 4 out of the following. So you need to be assessed doing any of these 4. So single cores, multi-core insulated, that's like flex.
Yeah.
3-core flex, 2-core flex, any core flex, really. PVC flat profile, that's twin and earth. MICC, that's mineral insulated.
Yeah. Fire
performance is FP. So that red cable, I don't know if you've seen that for fire alarms.
Yeah, I have seen it kick. I've noticed it.
Okay. It can also be for emergency lighting, so it might be white.
Oh, okay.
The same cable.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
SWA cable. Obviously, you've probably seen loads of that.
Yeah.
This is SY cable. You might come across a bit of that.
Oh yeah, the stuff for the air conditioning units and stuff, bits and pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then obviously you've got data, which you probably do some of. Okay. And you only need 4 of those out of those. And for every one of these modules, like 108, the first fixing, you have 2 jobs minimum that you have to do it on.
Yeah, okay.
What happens is if you can't fulfill that criteria for 2 jobs, whatever's left over, you can pick up a third job and fill in the blanks. And if that third job doesn't quite fill everything, then you get a fourth job to finish off the rest, and so on and so on and so on, until eventually you've filled in all the blanks. Okay?
Yeah, all right, cool.
You don't have to do every job to the full standard. You're just filling in blanks after the first two. You have to be able to screw connections, crimp connections, solder, non-screw compression, that's Wagos, and insulation displacement, obviously that's data. And then you just need, obviously, job description, job address, tools you use. Tick these, okay, to say what you've been working on.
Yeah.
And then you need a couple of photos. So what I suggest to people is you have a photo at long distance to show the general vicinity and show that it's safe to work in. And so, and then you have to describe that picture. So you describe it here. And then one close up showing what you've terminated.
Yeah, okay.
So people, because again, if you do one at a distance, people can't see the detail. And if you do one close up, they can't prove that it was you that was in the photo, or put it into context of the job. So if you do one, far away and one close up, you cover all the bases. Again, there's nothing to stop you doing a step by step either. Then you get a photo of the equipment that you've installed and the method of termination, and you describe it. That's it. You do that for two jobs, so that's second fix, and then that moves on to first fixing, which is the 109 unit. Let's bring that up here. So 109. So actually, installing cables. And again, exactly the same method. You just go through here, and all you do is you just put your job number there. So it could be job 1, job 2, or job 3, job 4, however many jobs you do. And the assessment method is whether it's that direct observation, product evidence, reflective account that we spoke about at the beginning. So, and then that ties into the job.
Yeah.
And then do all that. Same thing. You've got pictures to take, and so pictures of you doing first fix, second fix, and then you talk about how you got rid of the waste as well. Okay. So waste isn't just about throwing things in the bin. It's also about measuring up so you don't have waste left over. It's about, if there are materials left over, taking them back to the wholesalers to get your money back, or scrapping copper to get some money back, putting as much into recycling as possible so that very little goes to waste, and all those things.
Yeah, okay.
Rubbish in the bin. And then it moves on to the 110, which is maintenance. You only have to do 109 or 110. I don't think you have to do both. So it's up to you. But I think if you do the maintenance rather than the 109, then you're classed differently. You're classed as a maintenance electrician. Whereas if you do the 109, you're classed as an electrician, and you can also do maintenance. So kind of
109 is definitely the benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better than two.
Then it moves on to, so 1010 is the maintenance, which we will skip past. And then it just moves on to testing. So inspecting and testing. So, I mean, you do that all the time. So that should be easy.
Yeah.
And again, probably a couple of pictures to take, I'd imagine. Got here, procedures. So you write down the procedures. Well, in fact, no photos. But again, when they come to assess you at the health and safety, they can photo you doing that.
Yeah.
And then finally, full diagnosis. And it's all exactly the same. Okay, you just go through, you fill in the criteria and tick the boxes that are relevant to that job. And that's it. That's all there is to this. And once that's completed, you then take that to, an assessor. They'll mark it off, make sure that it's up to standard, make sure that you've ticked all the boxes correctly, it's all legit, so that if they get inspected, obviously it's all okay. So once you have that, Lawrence, you can go into the AM2.
Yeah.
Okay. Which will save you 3 years at college if you can.
Yeah. Okay. That wasn't overly well explained to me when I actually spoke to the guys actually at the college.
Yeah.
I must admit that I have looked at the experienced worker route, and how you've just explained it to me there is a damn sight easier than what it was actually trying to trawl through it.
Yes.
because I've got a couple of other friends within the military that one guy could definitely blast through that because he's been working with his cousin who is an electrician for the last 6 months on and off as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would save him a heck of a lot.
I don't know if I mentioned you need 5 years experience.
Yeah, he's been in the same trade as me for about the same sort of time anyway.
Okay, yeah, so that's good. So it's 5 years minimum experience. You need the 2391, the 18th edition, and then they do a skill scan, which effectively is just a tick box exercise to make sure that you can do what's in the exam. And if you can't, they can offer you training or tell you to go and get extra training on that until you're happy that you can do it. And then fill the portfolio in you go. Yeah. So that route would probably cost you, let's say, 1,000 to 1,200 for the NVQ. If you fill it out yourself, you can get people to do it for you, Lawrence, believe it or not, for about £1,700, and they'll fill it out. All they need is you to send them some photos, and they'll fill it out for you.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you need to do. To be honest with you, what you told me, I think you'll be sort of taking the easy route.
taking the cheaper route, yeah, that's for sure.
So if you said about £1,200 for that, and then £900 for the AM2, you're looking at about £2,100.
Yeah, sure. So the question on that, previously we said about you can only get the NVQ if I'm physically employed by someone. Can I not self-fund that?
No, oh yeah, sorry, no. That was only if you go on the apprenticeship route.
Oh right, okay, yes.
Yeah, that's linked purely to the apprenticeship route, which we've said won't work for you.
Yeah.
So you would be the self-funded route, and yes, you can, but that means that if you go down, well, basically, if you go down the self-funded route, that is the 2365 level 63, then the NVQ, then the AM. So I've just put down here £5,100 and 3 years at college.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're already doing the work, or you've got photos of you doing all that work, and they're recent photos within the last couple of years, you could build that portfolio.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks where you haven't got it with whatever materials are on there. You know, just some twin and earth in somebody's house, or you can set things up, just jobs here and there to fill in the blanks. And that would obviously cost you £2,100, and just however long it takes you to build that NVQ. So
is there any timelines on that NVQ? So say like if I put in for it tomorrow, found a provider for that NVQ, what's the actual timeline on the 2346? Did I see
2346? Yeah,
on the 2346.
I know there isn't a timeline, because basically you would probably fill that portfolio out before you go and see the assessor.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point in paying for an assessor at the beginning and then him telling you what to do when you go through that? I mean, if you need any advice, just ask, because I'm getting my head around it myself, because I've got to do this for myself as well.
Yeah.
So if you need any advice, just ask. And then all you need to do is just go there with your completed portfolio. They'll check it. If there's anything that then needs picking up, you do that, and you could be there within however long it takes you to sort that out.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So moving on to the AM2 ES or whatever variation that I ended up taking.
Yeah, the AM.
Yeah, the AM2E. I've heard from a lot of guys, it's also my own research on it, that it is quite a hard test to actually do. Now, what would actually be entailed within that AM2 SD?
As with anything, Lawrence, it's only difficult if you don't do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's going to be the issue, because although whilst I could go through and fill out most of the portfolio and then spend time doing it once or twice isn't going to really help me with the AM2E essentially as well.
Well, look, here's the thing, Lawrence. You've been doing this 20 years. Okay, you can terminate a cable. I'm assuming. You can read a specification.
Yeah.
You can read a manual.
Yeah.
You can test the circuit.
Yeah.
That's all that's involved. I mean, you can imagine this is at a level for apprentices that have done 3 years at college.
Yeah.
All right. That's the level you're talking about. And all that's in it. And I've done some videos on it, Lawrence. So just watch the videos. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I mean, obviously, I don't have the bays or anything like that, because we're not supposed to have any of that stuff. But I talk through it, and all that's in there. There's some singles running trunking.
Okay, yeah.
There's some SY flex to terminate to a motor.
Yeah.
There's a heating system to wire up, but they give you all the manual, so you just have to follow the. It's paint by numbers. You just follow the terminals. Right?
Brilliant.
There's an FP200 to a smoke alarm that you have to wire in, but that's no problem. That's like terminating a bit of flex. It's easy as long as you don't damage the cable and you gland it properly, with stuffing glands. And there's a bit of data. There's a data point.
Yeah.
Cable, so Cat5 cable from a data point to data point, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it's on a 3-phase board.
Oh, okay. That sounds be flippant. It sounds relatively easy and not as scary when you break it down to simple components.
It really shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, as long as your terminations are tight and secure and you've installed it to the minimum safe standard of PS7671, so the cables are clipped or glanded properly or stripped or sleeved or whatever, and you followed their specification, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, unless you run out of time.
Yeah.
That's the other.
How long is the AM2 anyway?
I think it's over 3 days.
Yeah.
So you come in, you do safe isolation. I mean, again, I can show you this thing. I close the screen now. AM2. Right, okay, let me share this with you. So the safe isolation is 45 minutes, and that's a risk assessment. Basically, for that, all you do is safely isolate the 3-phase board that you're going to work on so that you can work safely. And then you fill out a risk assessment for the area you're working in. Then you've got the composite installation. So the actual, the installation side is 10 hours.
Yeah.
Then you get 3.5 hours to test and inspect that installation. Okay, so you're testing your installation to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Then you've got an actual safe isolation of a board, and it might be your board or it might be another board that they stick you on, but it's exactly the same as what you've just installed, and they'll ask you to isolate a circuit or the main switch or an isolator or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people fail that. Then they stick you on a fault diagnosis board, and the board looks exactly the same as what you've just installed. So there's no surprises, but it's got some faults that are introduced into it. And all they are short circuits, misconnections, high resistance, and what's the other one? There's 4. My mind's gone blank, but there's 4 types of faults in that. And then your assessment of applied knowledge, that's basically a regs and building regs exam. So I think it's about 30 questions, and it's a mixture of building regulations and a regs exam. But because you've already done the 18th, I think there's more questions on the building regs than there is the 18th edition. And guess what? They give you the books. So again, you shouldn't.
It's open book.
Here's the pre-assessment manual, which you can download. This talks you through the whole thing. Okay, tells you what you need to know. So again, tells you safe isolation, what they're expecting you to do. Tells you the risk assessment, what they're expecting you to do. I mean, again, people don't read this stuff, and it tells you where most people fail as well. Yeah. So honestly, they make it so that they're giving you the best chance to pass. All you have to do is put in some effort.
Yeah.
So, and they even give you time. If you find faults while you're testing your own work, as long as you've got time, you can fix the faults.
Yeah.
All right, because you might realise, oh crap, I haven't earthed something, or I didn't put that fly lead on, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Again, common errors, But the fault rectification, so here we go. Type of fault. So you've got open circuit, high resistance, misconnection. So short circuit, open circuit, high resistance, or misconnection. Those are the only 4 faults you've got. And they say that you can find all those faults with a continuity tester.
Oh, brilliant.
All right. So, again, you should be absolutely fine. I mean, you've done the 2391. You should be fine for it. So, again, have a look on the AM2 website.
Yeah.
Okay. Look for all of that. It's all free. You can download it. I've done a set of videos on it. You know, if you just want a bit of reassurance, which I've had a lot of compliments for. So yeah, I think you'll be absolutely fine. Your only problem is filling that NVQ out, because obviously I don't know the range of work you're getting, so that would be up to you to get that range to be able to fill it out. Okay. Whereas the 2365, I mean, you're still going to have to do, you're going to do all the qualification.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to fill the MVQ at the end of that. So you're still going to be in the same situation 3 years down the line.
Yeah.
Lawrence. So why waste the money?
Yeah. Okay. No, it's been very informative. Everything is what you've said. Like as what I said earlier on, the main reason why I hadn't really investigated, well, I just didn't understand the 2346 enough, shall we say?
Yeah.
But no, if it is as, I won't say simple, that sounded remarkably flippant. Yeah. Is it as straightforward with a little bit of effort on my side to actually go out and find the work and actually do this? You're on Discord, Sparky Ninja Discord, the same as what I am. Nice bit of free advertising there for Sparky Ninja. Yeah. Then there's plenty of guys that I could probably say, look, I need to fill out X, Y, and Z jobs. Anyone within sort of like 50, 60 miles of me, can I come out if you've got this job to do whatever I need to do on? And then that could also count as my technical discussions as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of food for thought there, isn't there? But
yeah, there is. Yeah.
Again, so I mean, I think we've covered everything that you need to know. I think you've got enough that you can digest. And obviously, I don't want the video to go on too long. We start going over all around. Yeah. But what I suggest is, if there's anything that you think of that comes to mind, just get in touch. Like you say, you've got that whole resource on Sparky Discord as well. Yeah. Good luck.
No, it's been very informative. Thank you. Because the whole 3 year piece, 3 to 4 year piece for the 2365 has been, I won't say a worry. It's just been slightly concerning. It's day release from my work. I still have to actually work as well. So anything that I didn't do on the Tuesdays or Thursdays that I was going for was I'd have to catch up either Tuesday night and then actually have to do my research and all the rest of it and learn the subjects as well.
Yeah, whereas this, you could just do a job on a Saturday to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sounds good.
Happy day.
Yeah, just thank you very much for your time, Adrian. At nice 22.8 on a rather wet and windy Dorset Tuesday night.
You're more than welcome.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you very much for your time, buddy.
All the best, Lawrence. Take care.